It was
Bueno,
good, Major Key Box. I'm going to pass you to the host over here, Major Key Box, and I appreciate everybody showing up.
Dímelo, saluda mi gente. Welcome to the fiesta, my people. You know, today is Spanish Heritage Month, my people. You know, thanks for all of you to come in. Today we're gonna get into top best. You know, we got at least 10 fighters. You know what I mean? 10 Spanish fighters that have did so much in the sport of boxing. You know, that accomplished so much. So we're gonna get into it. You know what I mean? So you know, it's your boy Guidooooo. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into the first fighter is gonna be We're gonna start with Ruben Olivares. Now, Ruben Olivares is a Mexican fighter. Is considered the greatest bantamweight, and he currently holds the record for the most win unified title bout in bantamweight history. Number 2, we're gonna go with Carlos Monzon. I know a lot of you are familiar with Carlos Monzon. You know, this guy was another special fighter from Argentina. You know, this guy is a fighter that was undisputed for 7 years as a middleweight champion. You know, and also the second longest unified champion in middleweight history at 9 consecutive defenses. So we're gonna go with number 3. We have number 3, Wilfredo Benitez. Is a Puerto Rican boxer who was the youngest world champion at the age of 17, who earned his first 3 career world titles in separate weight division at 17 years old. That was Wilfredo Benitez. Number 4, we have Wilfredo Gomez, one of the most dangerous boxers the Puerto Rican ever had. You know, he was a 5-time champion. His 17 consecutive, he has a record for 17 knockouts and championship defensive record for all boxing division. Gomez won the gold medalist in 1974 Central American and Caribbean Games. He also holds the record for the longest knockout streak to including world championships. Gomez knocked out his next 32 opponents. He also is considered the greatest super bantamweight at all times. That is Wilfredo Gomez, ladies and gentlemen. So my number 5, we got Carlos Zarate. A lot of you are familiar with Carlos Zarate, a Mexican fighter, man, who holds the WBC bantamweight title from 1976 to 1979. He also holds the record for the longest 2 KO streak, over 20 fights. That is Carlos Zarate, my people. Starting on number 6, we have Jose Torres. Jose Torres is a Puerto Rican boxer who won a silver medal in the junior middleweight division in 1965. Also won the WBC and WBA light heavyweight champion. He also was trained by the great Castamaro. That is Jose Torres. Number 7, we have Jose Mataquilla Nápoles. He was a Cuban-born Mexican who won a welterweight champion. He also ranked as one of the greatest fighters of all time in that division, which is welterweight. His record of the most win in unified championship bout in boxing history, shared with Muhammad Ali, was unbeaten for 40 years. Fighter number 8, we have Carlos Ortiz. Carlos Ortiz, man. A lot of people not familiar with Carlos Ortiz. This is the fighter, man, that fought a lot during the 40s and the 50s when the fight was real hard. They had 15 rounds. It was a dangerous fight back in the days, you know what I'm saying? But I consider him as number 1 Puerto Rican, the best Puerto Rican fighter of all times. Now, a lot of people got their own opinion. But let's get into it. He's a Puerto Rican boxer who won 3 world titles. 2 at lightweight, 1 at light welterweight. You know, Ortiz holds the record for the most win unified lightweight title bout in boxing history at 10. So we go on to number 8. Ricardo El Finito Lopez. I know a lot of you are familiar with this guy. It's a Mexican fighter who was a two-time weight champion, having to hold the WBC minimum flyweight title from 1990 to 1998, defending it against a record-breaking 21 opponents. He also was 86 and 0 in the amateurs and 50 and 0 in the pros. Never lost a fight in his career. Ricardo Lopez was voted as the greatest scoreweight and light flyweight champion, and Boxrec raised him at the best minimum weight at all times. That is the great Ricardo Finito Lopez. What number we at? Number 9 or 10? This is the last one?
Yeah, you are the last one.
Okay, so we're gonna go the last one. I think a lot of you really know him. I'm one of the most greatest fighters in Mexico. The name by Salvador Sanchez. It's a Mexican fighter who was a WBC and Lino featherweight champion from 1980 to 1982. Many of the boxing writers believe if it wasn't for his premature death, Sanchez could have gone to become the greatest featherweight boxer of all time. But still, he is ranked at number 3 at all times at featherweight. So there goes my top 10, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to the fiesta, my people.
So and keep in mind, guys, salute to everybody in the chat. Some folks got links, but nobody's in the background. So keep in mind that we don't want to have this dialogue. It wasn't necessarily top 10; it's the first 10. No particular order. It's just giving you guys names for the first 10. You know what I mean? So I dropped the link. Everybody that was invited was already knows, but there's certain people and individuals in here that can always chop it up with us, like Lisa Bales, for example, Johnny Blaze, people like that. But everybody else already got a specific link.
And I want to say this real quick, brother.
Yeah.
This is not about who ranked the best. This is about Spanish fighters that have accomplished it in boxing. Have historic breaking records, you know what I mean? In the sport of boxing. So I did this to appreciate my fighters, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Any y'all could give me whatever fighters y'all like, you know what I mean? Everybody's welcome to the party. You know?
Well, that's the thing. We're gonna play clips for each of the fighters, and I want you guys to be talking about it and chopping it up. So, before we get to that, we have Mr. Sinister in the building. First one in. Welcome, Mr. Sinister.
Hey, Mr. Sinister, how you doing, brother?
What's up, Guido? What's up, Major Key? How y'all doing? How y'all
para
doing?
la fiesta, mi hermano. Bienvenido, todo mundo.
Chilling.
Vamos a hablar, vamos a celebrar, you know?
It was a
Let's
nice
celebrate,
list
my
you
brother,
made there,
you know?
Guido.
Yeah. So, what you think, man? There's a lot of great fighters in this list, man.
Yeah.
I had tremendous accomplishment in this boxing, you know? You got
some good history.
Gomez, no? Carlos Zarate, you know what I mean? So we have a lot of great fighters, man, you know?
Dude, even fighters I didn't even hear of. So shit, I learned something today.
This is only the beginning, brother. There's a lot of whole fighters that I gotta do, you know?
Yeah, if y'all read the description,
there's a lot of great fighters. Yeah.
Chat, if y'all read the description, this is just the first 10. We're gonna have 3 weeks. We're gonna have all 4 weeks of Hispanic Heritage Month, where we're talking about these Hispanic legends. But this is the first week, so we're just mentioning 10 names. By the end, we can have that discussion as far as whoever has like a top pound for pound and stuff like that. But for right now, pretty much we're just naming names right now and trying to educate you guys on that. So let me know when you're ready, Guido. Sinister seems to be the only one in the background. I could show some knockouts from Ruben Oliveras, and you let me know when you're ready to do that.
All right, sounds good.
You go, bro. Let's get it rocking, brother. Let's get it started, brother.
All right. Without further ado, then let's go ahead and get this. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second, man. I want y'all to see this. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. They keep going to Border Wars, man. They want me to show you guys rolling with the punches fighting. Yo, top it up. Let me see what I could do. No, I can't play Kali. If I play it, I can't play the sound though. I can't play the sound just because you get strikes off of that. I even got to be cautious as far as the video itself. But salute to everybody in the chat.
Hey, man, salute to everybody, man. We got everybody in the chat. Salute.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, there's so many great fighters, man. You know, like I say, man. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. Tell me what is your favorite fighter in this list? No? Who had the biggest accomplishments in this list? What fighter was incredible, yeah?
Hey, let's see. Oh,
Hey, what up,
who that one
Martinez?
fighter?
What's up, brother?
Hey, who was that one fighter, Guido, that you said that defended his title 10 times?
That was Carlos Ortiz.
Okay, Carlos Ortiz. Okay.
Yeah. Man, we had so many fighters, man. We had Ruben Olivares. I know a lot of people are familiar with that dude, you know. We had Salvador Sanchez, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos Ortiz, you know, like I just said earlier, Ricardo Lopez, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We have Wilfredo Benitez. We have also Jose Mataquianopoulos, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying? So I'm just going to save the next 10 fighters for the next time, you know. I don't want to spoil it, you know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Guido, I still think that Munguia and that Rosado fight is gonna be a good fight, boy. Mexico versus Puerto Rico. That's gonna be good.
Mejia versus Gabe Azaro.
Yep, Gabe
Yeah,
Rosado
that's a
Munguia.
good
That's
test
gonna
for
be a
Mejia.
good fight.
I believe that would be a good test for him and Mejia. That would be another good one, you know. We got Bruce Gold. What up, Bruce?
What's up, Guido, man? I just want to.
Hey, what's up, brother? Hey, thanks for coming, bro. We got action. Yo, the volume, Glenn. Unmute the volume, bro. There you go. So yeah, this is how great Ruben Olivares was, man. A tremendous fighter back in the days, you know. Ruthless fighter, you know. So, and look at that combination to the body, my goodness.
That definitely, man. You know, I caught him a few times in the '70s. You know, he
Oh, really, bro?
Yeah, he won the WBA title, vacated by Ernesto Marcel. You know, and you know he fought Aguayo. He lost the featherweight title. I mean, he fought Bobby Chacon, Danny Little Red Lopez. You know, he fought everybody in the featherweight division back in the day. You know, Ruben Alvarez was a knockout machine from Mexico. He was a feared champion, man. Great champion. You know, he had a up and down personal life, man. But you know, but in the ring, you couldn't deny the brother.
which is crazy, you know. And you know he holds the record for the most unified title in bantamweight history. So I can see that, you know. So yeah, man. Shit. And back in the day, fighters would they would go to war, and back in the day it was 15 rounds a fight. So that's just how so back in the day was totally different than today's day, you know.
Absolutely, and he was a 2-belt titleist too, man. He had back when there were only 2 belts.
Yeah. And you really had to fight. That's the thing. It's not like today, you know, you got like 3 or 4 belts, you know. People use this cost on the side of the street, blah 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 bullshit, you know what I mean? Back in the day, fighters they had to earn this shit the hard way.
You fought rematches. You fought rematches. You fought opponents 3 times.
Yeah.
You know, there was no fooling around. You know, every 3 months you fought 4, 5, 6 times a year back then. It wasn't like today. It wasn't like they're pampered and they get called up to fight once or twice a year. These guys were warriors, man. They were the true alpha males in the day. There's no doubt about it. I know it's getting
they
to be
were animals, man. They were
thing.
Oh man, they were just animals, bro. They it was a different breed back then, you know. People,
The West Coast
people had more heart.
was featherweight happy, featherweight crazy back then. You know, with Little Red Lopez and Bobby Chacon, and you know, Aguayo was always stepping in and out of there. But you know, the mainstay was always Ruben Alvarez.
Mm-hmm. We could talk about so many fighters, man. I could go on with Fredo Gomez. Are you familiar with Fredo Gomez, bro? Yeah, he was back in the days too. No. We also have Fredo Benitez, you know.
Oh well, Benitez was one of my favorite fighters, man. I watched Benitez a lot because he was up a few more years from Alvarez, and you know, Wilfredo Benitez, man, you know, three championship belts. He was devastating. They called him the Bible of boxing. He was so defensive minded. You couldn't hit him with a shotgun in the ring, man. He made Sugar Ray Leonard look foolish until the stoppage. Sugar Ray Leonard said it was like fighting a mirror image of himself.
That was a good one.
And that's the opposite of Ruben Alvarez. Ruben Alvarez was nothing but offense. He was a kill or be killed fighter.
Yeah. No, one name we haven't brought about Jorge Paez.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Jorge Paez, the Mexican fighter.
Yeah,
he was a good fighter too.
Yeah, another good fighter, yeah. Hey, and you know who also was good back in the day too? Carlos Zarate. Carlos Zarate, man, that dude was also a beast back in the days, you know.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. Zarate was a knockout machine, and they had Carlos Zarate against Wilfredo Gomez, 2 knockout machines. Wilfredo Gomez took out Carlos Zarate, who had something like I don't know, I think it was like 52 and with 51 knockouts. Undefeated, and you know, Gomez, you know, he was that 32-0 with 32 knockouts, and they fought each other. And then Gomez graduated. He went on to fight Danny Little Red Lopez. So I mean, these guys didn't just fight at the same time; they fought each other, and they fought classic fights with each other, sometimes several times.
That was beautiful. That was a war. That Gomez versus Zarate. Oh my lord!
Oh yeah,
I gotta see that fight. When y'all get a chance to see it, that was a war. That was a spectacular fight.
Gomez against anybody. Gomez he'd spit on you when he knocked you down. He was the original bad guy, man. He was
he was a villain. Yeah.
He didn't shake hands, and like I said, man, you know, spitting on a down opponent. That kind of says it all right there.
That dude had so much manners in his heart, bro.
Is this Bobby Chacon right here? I think it is.
All right, we got Rival in the building. What's going on, brother? Welcome to the fiesta, man.
That's Bobby Schoolboy Chacon right there, man. Fighting Ruben Alvarez. Great fight.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ruben Alvarez was a monster.
Hey, Mark, what's up, brother?
How's it going?
I'm bumping into all over the place tonight, man.
Awesome.
Salute to you guys, man. Next one is Monzone, by the way. just so y'all could
Carlos Monzon. Oh,
go ahead
yeah.
and finish up with Olivares whenever y'all want, since Unrivaled just came in, and then we can talk about Monzon.
Yeah. Are we still on Ruben? Yeah. Still on Ruben. Ruben was a serious puncher, man. Like, for anybody who doesn't know, at the start of his career, he was 20-0 with 20 knockouts. He was dominating everything. The first champion he ever fought against was a really good fighter called Salvatore Baroni, and he absolutely annihilated him. After 40 fights, he was 39-0 with 1 draw. He had 37 knockouts. He was very dominant on the come up, and in my opinion, and it gets a bit of controversy from people, I actually rate him as the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. I know a lot of people put Chavez there, but when I look at the amount of top-rated opposition and top champions and at the top Hall of Fame opposition for Ruben Olivares is one of the greatest Hispanic fighters known to man. Arguably, he's 1 or 2 in Mexico's history, whatever way you want to punt it at the moment, and he was just a very dominant champion. He was a very, very dominant champion. He against like he had 8 wins of champions towards the end of his career, compiled a record of 89 wins, 13 losses, and 3 draws, with 79 wins by knockout. So he's one of the biggest punchers in Mexico's history as well. And he was just extremely good. He had a murderous uppercut, a beautiful left hook, and
beautiful accuracy, man, too. Yeah.
Oh, he was extremely accurate. He could rip you to the body and then come up over the top, Guido, right, and just take you out. Like the wins over Shakan late in his career showed just how good he still was. I know he lost after that to Shakan, and most people will recognize him like they do for the Arguello stuff, but they won't realize like his wins over Efrain Torres or Chucho Castillo, or like I mentioned already, the guy previous that I was talking about a couple of minutes ago, but he beat a really good Japanese fighter in Kanazawa. Yeah, when it came down to it, he was brilliant. And one of the most underrated wins on his entire resume, I don't know how many guys would be familiar with this, is a man by the name of Lionel Rose. And in my opinion, Lionel Rose is one of the top 10 bantamweights of all time. So Ruben Olivares was an extremely accomplished and brilliant fighter. Brilliant fighter.
Hey, you're Unrivaled. You kind of got something going on in the background or something. Either you're on the live stream, and I think you have like the window open for YouTube, because I could hear like a bunch of static.
No, it's probably just like the background, I guess.
Yeah, man. So many great fighters, man. So who we got? Carlos Monzon next? You guys
Carlos
ready for that?
Monzon is next, man. Yeah,
All
man.
right,
and,
everybody, we're gonna get Carlos Monzon. He's on his way, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put him on right now. And shout out to the chat, man. I'm just I'm letting these boxing heads talk about it. Again, that's why Guido's hosting this episode. I'm in the background working, making sure everything is clear. So new laptop and all of that, we're trying to make it happen. So thank you for everybody showing up to the panel. We'll probably have more people showing up, but everybody was out there supporting, rolling with the punches in his debut on Border Wars. And man, he made an account for himself, I can tell you that. But,
hey, before you start, I want to give a clap to and a shout out to all of the punches, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
that
he went out there.
Right, man. I love the way he fought.
Yeah, he got gas a little bit. He had a long ride over there, but you know he definitely left everything on the table. You know what I mean? So shout out to him. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip, and y'all go talk through it, or if y'all want, or wait to the end. It's up to you.
We good, bro. You can start it.
Yo, Magic, if you want, you can drop the link in the private chat and I can bring it up and you can share my screen. I've got a really fast computer. Really fast. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I apologize for the technical difficulties on behalf of Major King.
Yeah, he's having a technical issues with the laptop. You know what I'm saying? So he wants to play the video. So, but at the meantime, man, since we're gonna start with Carlos Monzon, right?
Yeah.
So what y'all think about Carlos Monzon as a fighter?
Carlos Monzon's one of the greatest middleweights of all time. And depending on who you ask, like if you go with historians, some guys will mention Ray Robinson and then they'll mention Greb. But from past that era, from the 60s onward, the first and second name that are always mentioned is Monzon and Marvin Hagler. And they were just separated by a time period. Monzon had a stunning jab. He was able to dictate his opponents by backing them up, by using that jab and his long right hand. He could work the body extremely well, and for the time period used angles that were innovative. For the most part, people didn't really see left hooks coming from the right sided angle against opponents that were longer than them, but Monzon made use of that. And he was very strong and robust, and he went on to be a champion for over a 7-year period. He lost early in his career and never lost again, going on, I think it was an 80-fight win streak.
Yeah. He won 80-something fights.
Yeah.
Before he lost, he won 80-something. Yeah, that's not sure how much of this guy was, you know? But when it comes to the middleweight, the middleweight, at one time, I believe him and Marvin Hagler are the best, in my opinion, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Ray Robinson was great, but I just feel like these guys are natural middleweights, you know, big middleweights, you know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, and when you look at
my take on that,
oh for sure. When you look at Monzon, he was dominant in his era. He beat everybody, even a guy who you mentioned earlier on your list. You mentioned Jose Napoles, Mantequilla.
Oh yeah, Mantequilla. Yeah.
Monzon fucked him up, man.
Yeah, I know. I know. That was a good one too.
Monzon.
Y'all get a chance to see that, man. It was a good one too. I seen that fight. I didn't see it in person.
I get to see
but I seen it
Monzon. Guido, I get to see Monzon a couple of times live. You know, the thing about Monzon, he fought all over the world. So why World of Sports? I remember when I was a kid, they loved Monzon because he was everywhere. He was in Monte Carlo, he was in Mexico, he was in France, he was all over the place. And I saw him towards the end of his career. You know, when he retained his titles against Rodrigo Valdez. But he was undisputed, man. He'd go around and he fought guys like Emil Griffith twice, you know, Benny Briscoe, Nino Benvenuti. And at the time, you know, I'm from New England. Marvin Hagler was just coming up, and they were talking about Marvin Hagler and Carlos Monzon. It never materialized, obviously, but there were whispers of that early in Carlos and Marvin Hagler's career. But you know, just a few years off, it just wasn't meant to be. But they did fight in the same era. Man, Monzon, very violent man. They say he'd cause riots places he went to. He'd lead the riots at the football stadiums. Never knocked out. Just a violent man. You know, his life ended in prison. He threw his longtime girlfriend and a wife out a 7 or 8 story window. Threw her to her death. So he was a violent man. But in the ring, beautiful fighter. You know, when I started watching boxing, I watched the heavyweights. I was watching Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. But you know, you always get the middleweights. The middleweights were the second glamour division back in the day. And Carlos Monzon just happened to be head and shoulders above every other middleweight out there. So he was the star of the middleweight division. You know, ABC Wide World of Sports, Carlos Monzon. You know, it was a match made in heaven. You go back and look at a lot of his fights, you'll see him on there with Howard Cosell doing ringside commentary. But, you know, shout out to Carlos Monzon, man. Definitely belongs on your list, Guido.
He was a beautiful fighter in the ring, but outside the ring, then doing his personal things, man, it wasn't too pretty, you know? But, you know, man, Monzon was one of the big stars at that time in Latin America and South America, you know? So people looked up to Monzon during those times, you know? I cannot imagine a fight between Carlos Monzon and Marvin Hagler. Just imagine that. That would have been like violent. A war. Like,
very violent.
Man, I just cannot imagine that, bro. You know,
especially with the pace they both fight at. Because a lot of guys who haven't seen Monzon, they assume they make up things like that he was just a brawler and what he wasn't. He was a very good technical boxer, but he could fight on the inside and maintain his length on the outside to where he was very good at everything. There wasn't one thing he really did badly. In the time period, he was a very consistent 9 out of 10 in every department. He had one punch knockout power on the right hand and on the left hook. He had an extremely educated jab where he could use it for utility to set up shots and double it up as a ramrod. He was awkward because of his size and how he used to shift angles with his feet to maintain his distance. And he had extreme levels of stamina, which is so crazy because he used to smoke like 40 cigarettes a day. He was just a natural talent.
It's just crazy. Back in the days, like I said, these fighters they were totally a different breed back in the day. You know, nowadays fighters makes excuses. Oh, I can't even do this because of this happened. You know? Fighters drinks and smoke, and they still give you a 15-round fight. You know. And man, you know what I like about Monzon too? I like how he stays spacing and counter. He's very good when it comes to the counter punches. You know, Mark. So. Yeah, man, Monzon was a special fighter, man. You know. The Major Key, you back?
Yeah, man. I don't know what the hell happened, but we're not gonna put any other stuff in the background. But we can still talk
Major
about
Key.
the next person, man. If y'all done with him, because the next one was Wilfred Benitez.
Glenn, if you want, you can give me the video clips to put up. I've got a very fast and strong computer, so I can do it.
Yeah. So how do I just put in a private message how I can share it with you, so you can put it up.
Yeah, just link me whatever the clip is in the private chat, and I'll click on that.
Gotcha.
And then
All right, perfect. All right, so you guys shop Wilfred Benitez. Next topic. I'm going to go ahead and send a clip to Unrivaled in the background.
I think we already talked about Wilfred Benitez, right? Have we spoken about Benitez, guys? Right? So
Not on this train, we've only spoken.
I think he was one of the first persons, wasn't he?
Yeah.
No, because he went down the list, so I was going down the list with him. The intention was to go show you guys clips for each of the fighters that he mentioned at the beginning. So if you guys went through his whole resume, then okay, then we can move on to the next person, which was Wilfredo Gomez.
Oh, we haven't done him was
Carlos Zarate.
We haven't done Benitez yet.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna look for the clip real quick.
Just in that private chat there. If you can get me that link, I can put it in.
Hey, Mark, I wanted to ask you, are you familiar with Carlos Ortiz, bro?
Absolutely. Carlos Ortiz is brilliant. One of the greatest Puerto Rican
very underrated fighter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dominant lightweight. 10 unified lightweight defenses. 10 unified lightweight defenses.
Bantamweight, brother.
Huh?
Bantamweight.
Carlos.
No,
I'm sorry. Yeah, Carlos.
You're talking to Miguel Canto or Manuel
Ortiz. No. Carlos Ortiz we're talking about. Yeah, like I said, this guy, he has the record for the most winning unified lightweight. Yeah. He has the record for the most unified lightweight title bout in boxing history, which is number 10. So,
wasn't he the first WBA lightweight champion? I believe, Mark.
I couldn't answer that one.
Yeah, he won the 3 world titles. Was his 2 lightweight and 1 the lightweight, lightweight. So. Yeah, so Carlos Ortiz. You know why I bring him a lot because guys are not too familiar with him. Because he was like a throwback fighter, doing in the 40s and the 50s. At that time, So I believe he should be up there in the list,
Absolutely.
Like, I know we got fighters like Trinidad, Gomez, Benitez, Torres, all them fighters, Miguel Cotto. And I believe he's like the first one because remember back in the days he had to fight 15 rounds, hard fight, And And in back in the day, the gloves are more harder. You know, they were more like, you know. So
Do you
I
have
bring
that
him
there,
up because
Glenn?
I feel like he's like a forgotten legend. So
Real quick, Glenn,
know?
can you just share my screen? It's down there, so you can just click on it, add it into the stream. Wilfred Benitez, the youngest champion in history, El Radar. He beat Antonio Cervantes at 140 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. He was 17 years old. He was still a child. His friends from his high school were in attendance when he became the youngest champion in history. Often left out in that era, in my opinion. Often. Bruce, what's your thoughts on El Radar?
Oh man, El Radar was a favorite fighter of mine. Like I said, you couldn't hit him with a handful of sand in the ring. He was so defensive minded, yet he had a crisp punch that'll knock you out. You know, he gained his first title, like you said, 17 years old. He won the junior welterweight title. He was in so many great fights. I don't know the fight we're watching. Is this oh oh, this is damn, who's he fighting right here, Mark? Of anyone. But
I
anyway,
can't
I
tell.
don't
I
know.
can't tell.
he
Yeah,
had
yeah.
one of the greatest knockouts of all time. I remember watching Wilfred Benitez when he fought Maurice Hope for the WBC junior middleweight title. It was a classic right hand. Wilfred Benitez hit him and he waved bye-bye to him as he went down, smile on his face. He had just been beaten by, not just been, but he was a recent defeat of Sugar Ray Leonard. And he'd come back, he had beat Roberto Duran. And, you know, he needed a belt. He was that good. And he got his third with a highlight knockout. You know, definitely highlight the stuff that highlight reels are made from. His fight with Sugar Ray Leonard. Leonard said it was like fighting himself. He couldn't land a punch, but he was just a little better offensive fighter than Wilfred Benitez. But I mean, look at Wilfred Benitez pour on the offense here, man. He's beating somebody up over here.
Tremendous
Bruce,
fighters. Look at the combination. My goodness.
Oh, stunning.
Oh wow, they go down. Wow.
Guido, do you know what statistic?
Beautiful
Do you know
right.
what statistic always gets left out with Wilfred Benitez? Because everyone talks about him being the youngest champion, right? But there's another youngest statistic he holds. He's the youngest two-weight champion and the youngest three-weight world champion of all time. And everybody leaves that
is
out.
absolutely correct, brother. Yeah.
And that's when three-weight champions were held in extreme high respect. It was very, very rare to see a three-weight champion. I think in the 100 years of boxing, there were maybe 5 three-weight champions, if that. And it was a rare thing. I remember one of the first fighters who tried to get 4 belts. He was favored to do it, Alexis Arguello. And that was that vicious fight with Aaron Pryor, man. The fight one of the classic all-time fights. But getting that 4th title was almost impossible. And damn, I can't remember who was the first one to achieve it. But now it's commonplace. I mean, now there's 4 belt, there's 5 belt division titles. Look at Wilfred Benitez, man. In fact, that might be Maurice Hope. That might have been that knockout. I think that was, man.
Might have been.
Look at that right hand. Goodbye. Just turns around and smiles. He just won himself his 3rd world title.
You know, Benitez.
Salute to Wilfred Benitez, man. He's living in poverty right now.
Yeah,
it's not. He's living on a $200 government Social Security check. He's messed up because of boxing. He's blind and wheelchair bound, and very, very sad thing. It's one of these sad things that happen to boxers that they get thrown by the wayside and forgotten when their beautiful career is over, man. And Wilfred Benitez is a poster child for that.
And let's not forget, let's talk about some of his best wins. He beat Antonio Cervantes, who was a brilliant fighter, and he was only 17 years old. He also beat arguably one of the greatest fighters of all time, Roberto Duran. He beat him on points, unanimous decision.
he made Duran look like a kid in there. Duran
He
was
did.
frustrated. In fact, people said Duran was all over. He said, Duran might as well just hang him up after that fight. It proved to be false advice, but that was that's what people were saying after the Wilfred Benitez. I mean, he just slapped Roberto Duran all over the ring. Roberto was frustrated, mad.
So, guys, the previous one is off the screen, right?
And then, you mean the private shot?
Yeah, the fight. Yeah, that one's off the screen, right? Because I
Nothing
can't
on the
see it on
screen
my
but
end.
us.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
off the
Major,
screen.
nothing on the
I
screen
took it
but
off.
us.
All right, perfect. Because I sent another link for you, Mark, for Wilfredo Gomez. That's the
One
next
second.
one on
Okay,
the
we
list.
gotta have a photo on it.
There we go.
Mhm.
Is this the one you're talking about, Glenn?
Yep, there we go. So let me share that real quick and put it on full screen. There we go.
There it goes. The one and only Wilfredo Gomez.
Bazooka. Oh,
El
this dude could knock anybody
Bazooka.
out.
El Bazooka.
Pound for pound, one of the
Man, I loved
largest
everything
punches in
about his
history.
style, bro. He had a
Oh, he was a-
relentless style.
Oh, fuck. Sorry.
You see him when the guy goes down? Motherfucker.
I love it when he does that, though. It shows
Look at
he's
him.
willing to kill somebody. He wanted to kill that dude. Oh.
Oh,
Very vicious in that ring. Oh, that was another one. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. Back in the day, them fighters was real.
This man was about. He was just all out aggression. Now, don't get me wrong. He could box, right? He could jab a bit. He could move his feet well. But he was there to hurt his opponents. And he was a weapon of destruction. Bruce, what do you remember of Bazooka, Wilfredo Gomez?
yeah, I remember Bazooka as a Saturday, Sunday afternoon fighter. I mean, he was the bad boy. He would never. He wouldn't win a decision. All his fights were knockouts. And like I said, he was a mean kid. You look at when he knocked somebody down, he'd spit on him. He'd tell him, he'd curse him out. I mean, he was a rough Puerto Rican kid, man. I will never in my life forget the showdown with him and Salvador Sanchez. That was the
that was a player.
oh
Yeah, that was a war.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
the battle of the bands, basically the mariachi band against the
Salsa, yeah.
the salsa band. Yeah, it was wild, man. It was an event, and it was 3 weeks before the Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns fight. But anyway, man, Wilfredo Gomez went in there as the favorite. I can't remember what his record was, but I know he was undefeated. And Salvador Sanchez, underrated. He was underrated. He wiped out Danny Little Red Lopez, who was beating everybody back then, back in the Ruben Oliveira's era, Bobby Chacon era. And it all ties in so nicely. But Wilfredo Gomez, man, like I said, he was the Puerto Rican bad boy, and he got beat up bad by Salvador Sanchez. He was the favorite going into that fight. It surprised me. I thought Gomez was going to knock him out like he was knocking everybody out at the time, but Salvador Sanchez, he manhandled him. It looked like he broke his cheekbone. I mean, he was in bad shape. Gomez, he'd never gotten beaten like that before. And after that, he was back to normal again. He fought Juan Laporte, Azuma Nelson. He got beat by Rocky Lockridge. It was a real close fight, but he stayed on. And he just kind of. I guess he retired now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back and do an exhibition, man. But Wilfredo Gomez, all excitement, all knockouts. He was a killer,
killer,
yeah. Kind of a guy.
Yes, sir. He was
Yes,
a ruthless
sir,
killer in that ring, man.
That's what I remember about Wilfredo Gomez, man.
Man, like I said, with that fight you were just saying about Salvador Sanchez, it just showed how special Salvador Sanchez is, So.
Oh yeah, is that what we're watching right now? Oh no, that's not what we're watching now. But like we saw Gomez, he fought Alfonso Zamora. They called it the Battle of the Z Boys. It was two knockout artists in Mexico. I mean, and that was a crazy fight. They were throwing cherry bombs in the ring. There were fights. There were several fights at ringside. You go back and Google that fight, man. That you won't take your eyes off the screen. That was crazy West Coast action. But anyway, Gomez won. Zarate won the Battle of the Z Boys. Then he went on to fight Wilfredo Gomez. He lost that fight. Gomez went on to fight Sanchez, which is the classic fight we're all talking about. But Wilfredo Gomez, he definitely belongs in your top 10. Great fighter, man. Great fighter.
And talking about Zarate, he's the next one up. So you guys let me know when you're done with this one, and we'll move on to him because Unrivaled already has a queue. And I appreciate you, Mark. Trust me, because you know I'm kind of new to this YouTube thing with doing all these different things. As far as I usually don't even put any other clips. It's just me talking, and doing interviews. But so I appreciate you and your knowledge of this and helping me out with this, bro.
No worries, man. I got you.
Appreciate it, man. So you guys let me know when you're ready.
We good. Mark, you good? Bruce, you good? We can move on to the next one. Yeah. On to the next
I'm on to Carlos.
I'm just remembering some of the great fights I've seen with these Hispanic fighters, bro. Bring them on, man. This is good stuff.
Carlos Zarate. Where do we start with this? Dynamite, explosive, vicious, insane.
Carlos Zarate. Ooh.
Here we go. WBC World Bantamweight title. Lock in, fellas. This man hit like a truck. Oh! Oh my God. He's brutalizing dude, man. Look at the way he stepped off when he was getting ready to throw the right hook, and then he came in, doubling up the jab. That's stunning IQ. Left hook to the body, and down he goes. Through the ropes, out of the ring. Bruce, what's your memories of Carlos Zarate?
Zarate, man, like I remember like I said, the Z Boys. That was the first time I remember hearing Carlos Zarate. But he was a legend in boxing. You know, we only had three channels at the time, so we didn't get to see him. I mean, if you were lucky enough to have a good antenna to get the Spanish boxing channel, you catch him once in a while. But he was just legendary for taking out his opponents. And he's only got 4 defeats, and 2 of them were right at the end of his career, where he just fought fighters that were coming up as he was going down. But man, Carlos Zarate, just the name struck fear in everybody. You knew you were going to go see a knockout. And when he lost to Wilfredo Gomez, it took a little bit of the aura off him. One of the best fights I saw, it was a loss, but it was against Lupe Pintor. It was on the undercard of a big fight. I can't remember the card that was on, man, but it was on a pay-per-view card. And they stood toe to toe. I mean, Lupe Pintor should be on this list too. But regardless thereof, Carlos Zarate, fantastic fighter, man. I mean, just look at his record: 66 wins with 63 knockouts. I mean, come on, this is a freak. This is a killer out of the closet, man. You're gonna fight Carlos Zarate. You better make sure your will is made out, man. Shout out to Carlos Zarate.
Hey, he also holds the record for the longest 2 KO streak. So, hey, that's impressive too. Yeah, good knockout power too. So
yeah, he knocked out the majority of his opponents.
Yeah.
Well, see, he had that famous left hook to the liver. That's what Mexicans.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
And Carlos Zarate,
Beautiful
he
shot.
hit you with that fight, and man, if he hit you on Friday, you're gonna wake up on Saturday.
Hey, that was a beautiful right there. That was a beautiful combination right there.
I heard stories that when opponents used to fight Zarate and they were matched against him, look at this. We have a dude running into the ring in his underwear. Look at this.
Hey. Oh, shit. Oh, man.
Bro,
I thought he was going to hit the cop.
This is the battle of the Z Boys. This is Zarate and Zamora, the one I was telling you about, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go back and watch that whole fight. Oh, entertainment at its finest. complete with riot cops and cherry bombs and every other fucking thing, man. I think the fight itself only lasted 3 rounds, if that.
Hey, what's the MMA guys? The one that fought Mayweather. What's his name again? Because I really don't watch MMA like that.
Conor McGregor?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. That's the first Conor McGregor, man. He came in, he tried to do a whole a marketing scheme there in the middle of the fight. That guy looked funny, man.
Oh man, but that's how it was back in the days. The fans was wild, you know. It was a wild time, you know. Look at that. Oh man.
This is crazy to watch, man. Zarate's left hook to the liver and then right hand up over the arm is amazing.
And then if that didn't take you out, that left hook to the jaw would be right behind it.
Oh!
Hey, but you know, hey, Luis, do you know this guy, right? With Chavez item growing up, right? Julio Cesar Chavez? That was his favorite fighter growing up. You know that, right?
What was that? What was that again?
No, what I was just saying, this was Julio Cesar Chavez favorite fighter growing up. That was his item.
Everybody's
Yeah,
favorite
so
fighter. Every
he always
Mexican,
showed him respect, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That left hook to the liver was just you watch Carlos Zarate fight and you learn that punch. You learn where to put it. You learn how much force to put it on. You're gonna know what it feels like too, man. You get in the ring with him.
Oh, this is the fight with him and Fredo Gomez. Oh.
Yeah. Brutal fight right here, man.
When you match 2 of the biggest punchers we've ever seen against each other.
Oh.
Oh my God.
This is the fights that get me pumping. This type of fight. Oh my goodness. You talk about boxing at its best.
It's stunning, huh? Carlos Zarate.
Tremendous fighter, man. One of the
66
greatest Mexican
wins,
fighters.
63 knockouts.
Yeah. One of the greatest Mexican fighters. Yeah, man. So who's next, Glenn?
Jose Torres.
Yeah, so I already sent the link. He's pulling up probably right now. It's Jose Torres.
Interesting. Another one. Yeah.
There we go. And I sent the link for Brian Harkin and Mad Chat if y'all want to pop up, or anybody else, guys.
You ready?
Yes, we are, brother.
Now, this is a technician, Jose Torres. Beautiful fighter. Knew how to change angles. Had a stunning left hook of his own. Was a very, 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 very difficult fighter for people to fight against, especially in the time period. He was considered a bit of an innovator. Look at the way did you see the shovel hook that he just threw a second ago? That was really Jose Torres who innovated the shovel hook. A lot of people talk about Donovan Razor Ruddock. As you can see, 40 years beforehand, we had Jose Torres using shovel hooks as counters and leads. Do you know much about Jose?
Yeah. But I was going to say, this guy was trained by the great Castamaro, you know? So.
Yes, sir. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1997. He amassed a very strong record, 45 fights, 41 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 29 wins by knockout. He was a silver medalist, I believe, in the Olympics, representing the United States at light middleweight out in Australia in the 56 games. as a professional, he worked tirelessly on his craft. On his way up, he beat guys like Oliveira and Frankie Oliveira, Gomi O'Brennan, and a former champion who is a Hall of Famer in his own right, Carl Bobo Wilson. In 1965, he won his first world title by beating light heavyweight champion Willie Pastrana. He was very strong in the fight, made Pastrana think multiple times about what he was doing, offset him, and he dissected him. He worked. This was a man who didn't have as an amateur the most natural talent when he first went into a gym, but he honed his craft, and as you can see, he used slight feints and movement, and he gained a lot of accuracy with his punches and his flow. Beautiful right to the liver. Look, boom, left, stunning. And just to give one little tidbit on him, if I'm not mistaken, I might be, y'all can go and correct me, but I believe he was the first Puerto Rican to be in a Ring Magazine Fight of the Year, and he was also the winner in 1966 when he beat Eddie Cotton, which is one of my favorite fights. It was the Fight of the Year for the 1966. Which is a hell of an achievement, winning the Fight of the Year and being the first person in your country to be in a Fight of the Year. I'm actually trying to think, was he the first Hispanic?
Bro, I'll tell you what I remember about Jose Torres. You know, when I first got into boxing, they were talking about he was talked about legendary. I mean, his fights with Dick Tiger, and I watched those. I watched some of the reruns on television, but I didn't really follow Jose Torres much until just back to the Tyson years, because he was one of the first champions that Customado had, and he was still residing up in Catskills, New York, rather. And Mike Tyson was he was a student pretty much of Torres. You know, Torres was a protege, obviously, of Customado. I mean, it was legendary, and Tyson was going to be his next world champion. Torres was a smooth boxer. It was before my time, but he had a lot of light heavyweight defenses. I just remember the seeing the fights with Dick Tiger, because Dick Tiger was a fantastic fighter, and that was when light heavyweights were killers, man. That was the Bob Foster era, the Dick Tiger. Oh, I mean, it was light heavyweights they moved as fast as middleweights, and they hit like heavyweights. Torres was right there. But like I said, I remember most of them from watching Mike Tyson's career, and then reading about Torres. How he was Customado's protege. But obviously belongs on that list. Top fighter from Puerto Rico. Fought out of New York, and I don't know if he passed away. He might have just recently passed away. If not, he did pass away. But he's still he was known to very youthful, always at fights, always at ringside, always open for an interview. A great guy to watch, man. Good movement. He stuck around till his career was over, man. He he fought till the end of the 60s. When I started watching boxing, he came in. When I came into boxing, he came out. So I wasn't really doing much of historic work back then. I was watching what was on television. And like I said, I caught him with his fights with Dick Tiger, memorable fights.
He was brilliant. He was brilliant, man. And he doesn't get as much credit as he deserves. He's one of the most underrated fighters I've ever seen. He was a technician, and he had power, and he fought against some of the very best, and beat them. Tremendous fighter.
Peter McNeely's father, Tom McNeely, out of Boston, man. I absolutely remember reading that.
And I know that he was the first Puerto Rican to win to be in a Fight of the Year, and to win a Fight of the Year. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm just making sure here. Yeah, I think. Now, he wasn't the first Hispanic fighter to ever be in a Fight of the Year, but he was the first Hispanic to ever win a Fight of the Year. So he paved the way.
Yeah,
So how you guys feeling about the my bad, Guido. I know this is your show. Go ahead, man. I was gonna say how you guys feeling about the list so far. And again, this is not in any order. It's just presenting fighters because this is what we're trying to do. We're just trying to educate people that don't know about these fighters. And I think you guys are doing a great job, by the way. I'm trying to work in the background, so I appreciate you guys talking about this. So Troy Graham said, did you do Jose Angel Napoles Mantequilla? Right?
I think
he should know. He should know that he's already queued up, my man. He's already queued up. He's actually in the background right here, ready to go. All right, but we're just trying to finish up the combo.
Butter.
Yeah, we already on top of that, brother. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, everybody that's talking in the chat, that's mentioning names. Again, 10 boxers this week, 10 boxers next week. We're trying to do this every Saturday until Hispanic Heritage Month is done, and just giving some highlights. The last one, we'll leave it more open to if you want to give a top 10, if you want to give your predictions on who will potentially enter that in the future as far as our prospects. We'll leave it all open to discussion like that. But right now we're just giving highlights to the guys that paved the way already.
Tell me when you want to play Napoles. Let me know whenever.
So go ahead, Guido, take it away, man. I apologize.
No, it's all good, bro. Like I said, man, we doing little by little, no? And then after, when we give these fighters love and appreciation, then we go, if we could do for the last one, top 20 or even top 25. I'm happy to drop top 25, you know what I'm saying? In order, you know what I mean? We're going to go to see who's the greatest Hispanic fighter of all time, you know? But that's for the last one. So right now, we just showing fighters that did historical things in boxing. We're showing them the appreciation, you know?
I can make a list over the next couple of days and send it over to.
Oh, really? Oh, I appreciate that, bro. You can help me with that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you actually intrigued Guido when you said top 100. You said top 100 the other day. He was like, "Oh, shit."
Hey, Mark, that's crazy. Top 100? Wow, that's a lot.
Oh, my guy. Do you know how many great Hispanic fighters there are?
I know, man. I could do 40, but top 25 is like, wow, you know? But if you want to do 100, man, that's going to be a battle. That's going to be
I've got a top 40 Mexicans, so why can't I do a top 100 Hispanics?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a lot of great Hispanic fighters, man. It's hard to keep up, like, you know? But yeah, right now we got Jose Mantequilla Napoles, man. We're going to show the people what this guy was made of, you know? One of the greatest fighters ever, man.
So he's got the clip. Let me know when you're ready to roll. You go. Well, you already have it up. So whenever you want to start it, go ahead.
Let's start it, Guido, yeah?
Yes, let's get it started, bro.
Mantequilla, butter. I'm sure everybody can probably guess why. This man was smooth. He originates out of Cuba, moved over and became a citizen of Mexico. He was taken in and loved by the people because he was able to be aggressive while remaining defensively proficient. He was a specialist with that left hook, and he became one of the best welterweights in history. But a lot of people don't realize he was fighting out of his prime when he already went up to the welterweight division. When he was a lightweight, he was probably at his most skilled, similarly to how Ray Robinson was when he was a welterweight. And Napoles dominated everybody in front of him when he fought at lightweight. Smooth style, beautiful punching tech. Oh my God, the step through, the way he can cut the ring off on his opponents, very accurate. And he was just stunning to watch. And his nickname is one of the most fitting nicknames of all time. Butter. Mantequilla. What do you think, Guido?
Beautiful fighter, man. Aggressive, but without getting hit, you know? Aggressive fighter. Look at that. Combinations to the body, the head. Oh, man, beautiful. Oh, the uppercut, my goodness. Night. Man, like I said, man, one of the beautiful fighters, man, as Latino ever had, you know? Great fighter, man. That was why his name is Mantequilla. And that translate butter in English, you know? Because he was sweet like the butter in the ring, you know? Look at that.
Bruce, what's your thoughts on this all-time great right here? Because this is a special guy. This is a special
Special
fighter.
fighter, man.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, Butter. I mean, dude, he beat the legendary Emil Griffith. Oh,
Mhm.
and who's smoother than that? You know, Mantequilla. You know, defected from Cuba when defecting from Cuba was very new to this country. Um, you know, he was a great fighter. You know, he went through the welterweight division. You know, Billy Bacchus, another champion he beat, Angel Espada. Dude, you know, there's just too many of them to just rattle off names here. But he was a fantastic fighter, and the name Butter was what he was all about. You know, great Puerto Rican fighter, man. You know, he fought right through the '60s, man, up until the I'm going to say the early '70s, just off the top of the head.
You know, the more I think about it, what was in the 60s and the 70s and the 50s? Why there's so many great fighters in those eras, man? It was like the golden era. That really is the golden era, too. You know, we had so much great killers back in the days, man, you know?
Yeah, we seem to
I think that's
have
what
been lucky
boxing
to have.
is missing, right?
We've had
Boxing is
that
missing
golden
this
era,
type
the
of fight.
'60s, the '70s, the '80s, the
80s,
'90s.
90s.
It seems until just now. All of a sudden, now we're in the tarnished era. But you never know, man. You never know. Things can change in
This
boxing.
could get better,
We
brother,
have
you know?
a great ending of
Yeah.
the year. Yeah, that's John Stacy right there, man.
Look at the way. Look at how calm Napoles is. Like the way. Oh my god! Look at this. Bam! He
Man,
knocked him out
damn.
from behind him with a cook around the head.
Oh, man.
Special. He was special, man.
Beautiful
Growing up, like I was showing a lot of guys, but the first guy I watched in black and white that I thought was like of a different level was that man right there. That was the guy who made me understand like what slipping a punch and taking your opponent's head off at the same time was all about. It was just stunning to see. He's one of my
It
favorite
was
fighters ever.
it was like if he was aggressive, the slipping punches, counting while he's aggressive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful thing. Those are the type of fight I love to see. Be aggressive but without getting hit, you know?
It's really a shame they
Yeah.
didn't give him the opportunity at lightweight, because if they had have
Yeah.
given him the opportunity at lightweight, Guido, he would have been
Yeah.
one of the greatest lightweights of all time. Because he
Oh,
was better
man.
at lightweight than he was at welter. He would have destroyed that division.
Yeah, man.
He would have looked like, how do I put this? He would have looked like George Foreman fighting against like a 5-year-old kid who's like 2 feet tall. That's how good he was at lightweight. He was just in a different league. Just in a different league altogether.
Yeah, man.
I'm ready
Beautiful
when you
fight,
are,
man.
Magic Key. I'm ready when you are for the next guy.
Yeah. We got Carlos Ortiz next. This is the
Yeah.
guy that I consider him the greatest Puerto Rican, in my opinion, you know? We're going to have Mr. Carlos Ortiz, man.
Carlos Ortiz largely goes unnoticed. Guido, I'm actually very impressed that you put him on the list. He often goes very unnoticed. He was a dynamite fighter for his time. He could punch, he could move, he could fight in and out, and he amassed one of the greatest defense runs in lightweight history by picking up 10 unified title defenses, which to this day stands unbeaten. It's extraordinary what he achieved. Extraordinary. I'm just thinking, like, what did this man not achieve in his career? You know, he he was special. Maybe he is the greatest Puerto Rican fighter of all time. I don't think you're really wrong in saying that, Guido. It took him.
You know, I don't mind people saying Wilfredo Gomez because Wilfredo Gomez was a badass too. but it has to be me or either Fredo Gomez or Ortiz. And you can put Trinidad number 3 or number 4, whatever. But when it comes to these two guys between Wilfredo Gomez, Carlos Ortiz, they have to be the best.
I
coming
don't
from
think
the Ivory
Wilfredo
Coast.
Gomez comes close to Carlos Ortiz. I think the only argument is a guy called Coco Kid, Herbert Lewis Hardwick. That'd be the only argument I'd have against Carlos Ortiz, a member of the Black Murderers Row, phenomenal fighter from Mayagas. But Carlos, the guys he beat, like one of his best wins is a guy called Flash Alorde, who is one of the greatest Filipino fighters of all time. Holds the record at 130 pounds. He beat a guy called Sugar Baby Ramos, similar to Jose Napolez in the fact that he defected from Cuba and became a Mexican citizen. And Sugar Baby Ramos, well, not Baby Ramos, but Sugar Ramos, for anyone who doesn't know who he is, he killed 2 men in the ring as a professional. Killed 2. Former world champion and great. Ortiz beat guys such as Alord, like I mentioned. He beat Ishmael Laguna. He beat Sugar Ramos. I'm talking Hall of Fame legends here. He had a draw in there with Nicolino Loche from Argentina. Nicolino Loche, known as the Untouchable.
Yeah. Oh, man.
He beat Loche's actually on the list too. Loche's on the list too. He's in the upcoming weeks too.
Okay.
He's gonna be in the next upcoming list. Yeah.
He beat an amazing guy called Duilio Loy. And he even beat a top tier fighter called Dave Charnley from Britain, the Dartford Destroyer, who was coming up in the ranks. He fought against Old Bones, Joe Brown, who before Ortiz had the record for the most. Actually, Ortiz holds the record for the most unified title defenses. Duran holds the record for the most title defenses at lightweight. But before them was Joe Brown, Old Bones, who Dave Charnley fought against and won one, lost one. He held the record before Duran for the most title defenses at lightweight with 11, I think it was. And Ortiz equaled that, and Duran broke it.
And that's why I got him as number 1, you know. And I got when it comes to Wilfredo Gomez, I can put him at least number 2. Because back in the days, like it was more harder, you know. So who we got next? So we got Ricardo Lopez and Ricardo El Finito Lopez. That's upcoming next, ladies and gentlemen.
El Finito. Oh, let me get this up on the screen for you here.
This guy right here, man. Oh my God! Wait until y'all see them. This is one of my favorite Mexican fighters of all time, at best, you know. Ricardo Lopez, man. Oh man. It's very technical in there, you know.
You know the way a lot of people associate me with watching the smaller weight divisions, guys? Like people like Mark likes the small guys. He is one of 2 reasons why. Him and Michael Carbajal. Or Michael Carbajal. Those 2 men made me fall in love with the little fighter. Finito's technique, his ability to move off the line, his consistency throughout his career. He never lost amateur or pro. Never lost. This man didn't know how to lose. How to draw, avenged it, avenged his draw, beat the shit out of him. The greatest minimum weight.
You know, getting back to Carlos Ortiz, man. I'm surprised you didn't mention the Sugar Ramos fight. I remember reading long time ago when I was first reading boxing. No, about the one of the biggest scandals in boxing. It was under there as boxing's biggest scandal. Billy Khan was the referee, and they said he was favoring Ortiz and stopped the fight. And the WBC declared the title vacant because it was stopped prematurely, and they ordered an immediate rematch. And that's when Carlos Ortiz really shone against Sugar Ramos and knocked him out even quicker than he did in the first fight. But that's just a little tidbit I wanted to drop off, man. That was when I was first reading Ring Magazine. That's one of the first articles I read, the 10 top scandals in boxing. And Carlos Ortiz, I didn't follow his career much. I read about him a lot, but that was one of the things that popped out at me, and I just remembered that when you were speaking about the Sugar Ramos fights.
Yes, sir. We appreciate that, Bruce. Appreciate it.
And also, he also they voted him as like the greatest strawweight and light flyweight champion all the time.
I'd call him the
And
greatest.
minimum weight.
I'd call him, well,
all the time.
minimum
So
weight
that's
is
3
straw
weight
weight.
class.
Minimum
Yeah.
weight is straw weight.
Yeah.
I call him the greatest minimum weight of all time. I don't call him
Yeah.
the greatest light flyweight of all time because he doesn't have the same work at light flyweight as Michal Carbajal and
Right.
Chiquita Gonzalez do. He doesn't have that same amount of work because he did all of his work at light fly. But he did at minimum weight. But he did brilliant going up to light fly. He was so consistent. He had power. Could move off the line. Finito Lopez, Bruce. What's your thoughts?
El Cairo Finito López. El gran campeón mexicano. You know?
Yeah, Lopez was usually on those Don King cards, but he had so much talent on those cards that he'd show four fights, as co-main events, and guys like Ricardo Lopez, legends, didn't even get airtime. So that was one of my first introductions to the great Ricardo Lopez. Hearing about the results during the telecast of a Don King fight. So that's how little respect he got.
But he later managed to pave the way for lower weight divisions because that was more early and mid of his career. But as his career went on, people wanted to see him, Bruce, and he ended up being co-main and main event on many a Don King card.
And he was also neglected on many a Don King card, which I remember.
That's early, though.
Well, I go back early, bro.
Okay. No, Finito was brilliant. What, Guido? How come you? What was your reason for picking Finito?
Man, I just what I picked him in the list because the reason why a lot of when it comes to Mexican fighters, and I think he's one of the special fighters. But when it comes to a lot of Mexican fighters, especially, they mentioned Chavez a lot. Marquez, Morales, the Barrera. I feel like he deserves his credit too. But due to that he fights in the small weight class, he doesn't get the same fame like them. You understand what I'm saying? Even though this guy was an amazing fighter, I felt like today I had to give him his props, his his love. You know what I mean? So what he did for the boxing sport, Yeah, man. I feel like he doesn't really get the credit that he deserves. That's what I haven't put him today.
Oh, I agree with you. I think he's one of the most vastly underrated fighters. I think he's one of Mexico's 10 greatest fighters of all time. I think he's definitely a top 25 Hispanic fighter of all time. He was remarkable. He was remarkable with his consistency. I think some of the things that hold him back is the fact that when he was at strawweight, it was a very new division and there wasn't many fighters around, so they had a small talent pool. But he dominated everybody and he moved up to a more established division at light flyweight and he wreaked havoc. He never lost. And you got to credit. Oh, crap. Wrong one. Hold on. You got to credit a man who doesn't lose, makes record title defenses in a division, and never looks bad his whole career, beating everybody. Everybody that was around him at the time, he beat them. Now we have another fighter coming up.
Yep, last one on the list. And for week, I should say last one on the list. And then after this, I'll drop the link if anybody wants to jump after this to just speak about anything off topic when it comes to Hispanic Heritage Month as far as the other boxers. Then you're welcome to jump on. You can speak about it doesn't need to be anybody old school like what we've been talking about. If your favorite boxer, for example, right now is Edgar Berlanga, go ahead and say that. If your favorite boxer right now is David Benavidez, go ahead and say that. But we're just trying to throw some history in the mix so you guys can understand, the history behind it, who kind of laid the pavework for everybody. And hopefully you guys are gaining something out of this. I would probably not have a different panel at this point to be talking about this. So I appreciate you guys again. And last but not least, Salvador Sanchez, man. Go ahead, chop it up, guys.
Oh man, this guy right here, this is my favorite. One of my favorite. Behind Julio Cesar Chavez. This guy is like my second favorite Mexican fighter right here.
Oh, this is my favorite Mexican fighter.
Oh yeah.
This is
Hey, I don't
when we
blame
say
you, bro. He
well,
was special, man.
when we say
Hey, but
favorite. Well,
Mark, you know why this one hurts me? And I'm gonna tell you why. He was such a young guy that he died at the age 23, man. It's just so unfortunately. We will never know what had happened if he was 30 years old. If he had we would have never know what would have happened if he had a long career. He probably would have been a GOAT. Who knows, you know? But this guy at for his age was a special fighter, beat everybody, you know? He beat the Lopez, Danny Lopez, what's his name? Manu Nunson? What was his name? Fuck. He beat a lot of great fighters during his era, you know? At such a young age, you know? Take it on, Mark.
no, this guy was just dominant. Look at the angles he takes up. He was ahead of his time, in my opinion. I feel like Salvador Sanchez dying at 23 is one of the saddest what ifs, and it's crazy that even though he died at 23, he's still recognized as one of the greatest fighters in his country's history and in his division's history. Like,
Oh yeah, man. I'll tell you that the first glimpse I got at Salvador Sanchez, man. In 1980, I just got my own pad. Danny Little Red Lopez. He's on everybody's lips. Danny Little Red Lopez would get knocked down. He'd get up and he'd knock you down. Saturday afternoon, Danny Little Red Lopez was the man. Salvador Sanchez, I'd never heard of the guy. He came out of nowhere. He ripped Danny Lopez's face, man, like he had razor blades in his gloves. He's knocking this guy down. He beat him, and it's like, what? Danny Red Lopez was the man. That's like today. That's like seeing Terrence Bud Crawford get knocked out by somebody you'd never heard of. But anyway, the rematch, same thing. This kid was no fluke. I mean, he fought everybody back in the featherweights, and there were some tough featherweights. I'm talking about guys like Ruben Castillo, man, Juan Laporte, Wilfredo Gomez, Rocky Lockridge, dude, Azuma Nelson. He was fantastic, and I remember the day that he died, man. I was in a bar and somebody said, "Hey, 1982, you hear Salvador Sanchez died?" I said, "What?" And man, you know, I started pulling out my magazine, started reading about him, and you know, there was no social media back then, so you know, you kind of relied on the OGs, or they knew the OGs from phone calls, and even back then, long distance phone calls cost money, so. You know, you didn't get that much word about it, but you know, the word was, you know, he slipped out of training camp. He went for a ride late at night, and he got in a wreck. He loved fast cars. He loved fast women, and that was Salvador Sanchez. And you know, he died so tragically young. I think he was training for a rematch with Ruben Castillo, if I'm not correct. But it was a sad day in boxing, man. I remember it well, man. Shout out to Salvador Sanchez, one of the all-time
That's
greats.
unfortunately, man. That's very unfortunate. Yeah, look at this. Beautiful fighter, man. Oh,
he was destructive.
Man.
He was destructive. He was razor fast. He was dominant. A fight around the time just before he passed, unfortunately, that was really heavily linked with him was a fight against another great fighter in Eusebio Pedrosa, who was a long-standing featherweight champion.
Oh, they wanted to make that fight.
Yeah, there's been rumors from both sides. Some people say Salvador Sanchez's team turned it down. Other people say that Salvador Sanchez's team actually didn't get an offer, and it was publicity from Pedrosa's side because he already had 2 fights scheduled on his way.
Well, that's because that's what's going on now, man. That's the Bob Arum Don King wars of today. That's just the same thing. The WBA titles were pretty much held by Bob Arum, and Don King. He was in bed with Papa Suleiman.
No, I know. I'm just explaining to people.
I'm kind of letting the people out there who don't know about it maybe catch a jewel from me, because I don't spit too many of them out there, Mark. And if I don't get them out there, I forget them. And I don't want to die with them, you know.
Hey, this one was classic right here, gentlemen.
Azuma Nelson.
Azuma Nelson's another one. He came out of nowhere in this fight. Almost went 15 rounds. Great.
For anyone who doesn't know, 10 days notice.
I'm gonna drop a little gem on you guys. We're actually working on Azuma right now. he might be coming on to Major Key Mondays very soon.
Oh,
Really?
that's a good. Oh, that's good, brother. Yeah.
Wow. It's one of the best featherweights of all time right there. What a shot. Azuma had 10 days
And
notice
he's
for this.
fighting one of the best featherweights to be of all time, too, man. It's an awesome fight, man. Don't blink in this fight, even though it goes almost 15 rounds.
You know,
And,
something
and
that
these fights was 15 rounds. Keep that in mind. We had a 15-round fight.
well, the reason Sanchez was so good at 15 rounds was because he trained in high levels of altitude. And a lot of people don't mention it, but he but he always worked in high extreme
Man.
levels of altitude. And it was like in the 12, 13, 14, 15 round, this dude's throwing 100 punches. Most people today would say, oh, he's on steroids. It's not. It's like, nah, man, he's sparring 25 rounds with no fucking oxygen. That's what.
Well, bro, you personified that when you mentioned Carlos Ortiz up in Argentina with smoking those cigarettes all day, man. That's the stamina he had.
Monzon.
Yeah. I mean, they were cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, look
So
at this.
Nico-
Look at the check hooks though. Look at it like people are used to coming in with the jab easily, but he's waiting for that just to counter with the check hook. That was crazy.
There we go.
You know, we got
Thank
Troy
you for
Graham,
sharing.
Troy Grizzy.
Thank you for sharing the links with me to show the people.
Hey, Mark, I
No,
want to
thank you
thank you,
guys
brother.
for being up here,
I
man.
want
I'm
to
gonna
thank you for
drop the link
dropping
in the
some.
chat.
Hey, I want to thank Mark, man. I want to thank Bruce for everything, man. Thank you guys for enjoying with us. You know what I mean? Appreciate you educating the fans more. You know what I'm saying? Since you're in the boxing and stirring, you know. I appreciate
Yeah,
having
man.
you on, brother. You know, so
Appreciate
appreciate
I'm
it.
gonna say,
Yeah, hey, Troy Guan, what's up, Troy Guan?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
man.
What you
Thomas
think?
Jones, we're not done yet.
Up,
Now,
Troy, man.
however, Bruce Booze, and Mark, I know it's late for him. Here's the thing: they're welcome as they want, but if you see him drop off, keep in mind that Mark is 5 hours ahead of us, and he was nice enough to chop it up with us. So if y'all see them drop off, it's just because God, you know what I mean? Like they just dropped a bunch of gems on y'all. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. So much appreciated. Don't feel like, you have to if you don't want to. You know what I mean? We're going to continue.
Major, an honor that you invited me on this panel, man. I appreciate it, bro. All you guys. If I don't say it later
That's
on,
what's
man,
up.
peace out. And the chat, man, great questions out there, man. Love all you guys.
I'm
That's
honored
what's
as
up.
well. I feel
Thank
blessed,
you, man.
fellas.
Thank you.
I appreciate that,
And if
gentlemen.
y'all got
All
a
right, so
channel,
then we'll
get my back, Glenn. I was gonna say if they got a boxing channel, put your channel in the link in the chat so people can follow you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Follow
Yeah, make
Mark
sure
Unrivaled, you know?
you subscribe to my man Mark Unrivaled. Absolutely. Yeah, you're gonna learn a lot over there. You know what I mean? Absolutely, you're gonna learn a lot over there on Mark Unrivaled. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and drop that link for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And we'll continue the show then. So everybody's here. Lisa, like I said, you're more than welcome, sis. I dropped the link already. Brian, you're more than oh yeah, Brian's ahead of time as well. Brian's like
Brian
5
was
hours ahead as
asleep.
well. But if you want to click the link, more than welcome. And with that being said, go ahead, Troy. My bad for interrupting, but we got to give credit where credit's due. So go ahead, brother.
No, I was just chilling, man. I was chilling. I was looking up some names because I'm really holding out until you start talking about Johnny Tapia. That was my favorite dude, man. That was my dude. I cried when he passed away. He was a hell of a fighter and just had a very interesting life, you know. That was my dude right there. So, but yeah, sometimes life
Hey,
is.
Troy, you cutting off, Troy. You cutting off,
But that's
brother.
because I'm like. How about now? Can you hear me, Guido?
Yeah, you good right now.
Yeah.
You good, brother.
Okay.
Hey, before you start, let me say hi to Lisa Bills. How you doing, Lisa?
Hey, how's everybody going? I mean, how's
We
everybody
good.
doing?
Sis, good.
We chilling. Enjoying this, beautiful Hispanic Heritage Month, But
Yes,
yeah,
happy Hispanic Heritage Month to everyone.
thank you. And thank you for coming. I appreciate the support and the love. But yeah,
Yeah.
Troy, what you were saying, brother?
I'm just chilling, man. I'm just chilling, baby. That's it.
And I want to get this correct. This was not about who was the top 10 best. This was about historical shit. You know what I mean? Latin fighters that did historical things in boxing. You know.
Yeah.
So you know,
I
but
wanna.
say that for last. You know, we're gonna say that for last. But as of right now, we're gonna show appreciation. You know, and love to these
Yeah.
fighters. Like they put their blood and sweat and tears in this sport. You know.
Yeah. I want to mention. Let me ask a question. Is Bobby Chacon Latino?
Bobby
Bobby
Chacon,
Chacon.
Southern California, but he's of Mexican descent.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Latino.
Okay. Two people I want to mention. Bobby Chacon and Bazooka Lamone. That fourth fight that they had they had four fights, but that fourth one was, woo, it was a classic. And those two, like, I love Bobby Chacon and Bazooka Lamone. I remember when that fourth fight, it was for the WBC title, I believe,
Yes,
and
Lisa.
it was a 15. Yes, that was
Yeah.
a 14-round war. That's one of my favorite fights.
You know, when I first came onto YouTube, so, like, you know, when you first come on here, people be like, "Oh, what's your favorite fights or whatever." Since I came on here, I've been telling everybody, Bazooka Lamont versus Bobby Chacon #4. It's my favorite fight of all time. I love that fight, Lisa.
Me
I know
too, Mark.
I know from the first. So, round 1, 9 seconds in, the first hook is thrown. Round 2, the first shake in the fight happens 27 seconds in. I know every second of that fight, every single second.
Wow. Wow.
Right, Chad.
Amazing fight.
Dude, this Mark, he won't fucking stop.
And I mean, you know, they fought other people, you know.
I had to jump in there because they weren't even asking me because he was taking over the fucking panel. I'm going to jump in here. Hang on a second. Hey, man, that fight is on my list of all-time great fights. I remember that fight so well, 1982. I think it was in December. Dude, Bobby Chacon and Bazooka Lamone, 15 rounds. I was in Sacramento. It was at a very, very small venue, very intimate venue, and it was a war. I mean, Freddie, they wanted to stop that fight several times. The doctor had to come in, look at both fighters. This was both fighters knocked down, blood all over the place. This was a war. This was really, man, this was one of the biggest wars I've ever seen in my life, man. I remember that fight. They were talking about that fight for weeks, like it just happened. Fantastic fight, man. Bobby Chacon and Bazooka Lamone. And after that, I remember seeing, I was so impressed with Bazooka Lamone, and he fought Hector Camacho. That was on my dude. I was on my honeymoon, and I made sure I got a place with a television in there because it was, you know, all places. I was at a resort kind of area. They didn't have televisions, and I got one. And man, I was waiting to see Macho Camacho get that, you know, learn what freaking Macho's all about with Lamone. But man, he showed me what he was all about. He kicked Bazooka Lamone's ass. It was a great time for those junior lightweights, man. They were all over the place, man. Bobby Chacon, Bazooka Lamone, Rafael Navarrete, Aguayo was in the mix. I mean, it was a violent time, a great time for boxing, man. Lisa, you know it, sister. And salute to you. Shout out, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good. There's another one I want to give a shout out to. Well, y'all mentioned him. I love Jorge Paez. You know, he's just, you know, as far as showmanship and you know, he was a great fighter too. I really enjoyed him and the costumes and the hairstyles. He always had a special place in my heart. You know, he fought some great you know, some greats as well. But like, you know, I think he was past his prime when he fought Oscar. Yeah, definitely.
I wish you would send me some of your names though through email because you know, like you family here. You see, if you mention let's say if you mention 5 names, right? I'm at least throw like 1 or 2 of them on there. You know what I mean? Like not necessarily, but if everybody agrees with your 5 names, then only 5 names will be there. But at least if nobody agrees with it, I'll at least throw 1 or 2 names up there. You know? So I mean, I don't think you realize that you family here on Major Key Boxing. So just make sure that
Of course, I'm family. Y'all family, yeah. All of you
so
guys are
just email
family.
me those names. Just email me those names because
Yeah.
anybody, you can ask people. A lot of people email me on the side. You know what I'm saying? Some people I'm cool with, like to a different extent, where they text me. Other people I'm cool with to the point where we talk on a regular basis. You know, but definitely, like if you got a list, just at least email me the list or the names, and you know,
Oh,
you
okay.
family there, you already gonna get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, hey, the list that y'all had was incredible. I don't have a problem. That list was like stellar. These are just people that I'm just mentioning, other, you know, putting them let's, you know, Latino fighters that I love,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Also Juan not I
Juan
love
Marquez.
Marquez. The other one, Lopez. I love him too.
Oh,
He's
you
one
talking
that
about
don't get.
Guama
Yeah,
Lopez.
yeah. A lot of people don't talk about him as much. Like sometimes I like to talk about people who are not as talked about as much. You know what I mean? To give
Yeah.
them their shine too. You know what I mean?
Well, you know that Jorge Paez, man. If you watch him going through the ranks, he fought everybody. I mean everybody. I'm talking about, man. You know, he fought Oscar
Yeah,
De La Hoya. He fought
yeah.
Pernell Whitaker.
Mhm.
Rafael Ramos, Rafael Relis, rather, the famous Relis brothers, Tracy Span. I mean, he fought everybody.
Yeah,
Jose
yeah.
Luis Castillo, who's going to fight again in another month and do an exhibition with Marco Antonio Barrera, another great name who could have been on that list. Like Mark said, man, he could put a top 100 together. There's so many great fighters that came from Latin America, man. It's
Yeah, definitely.
rich, man, rich. And I know, I think, Major, you had Troy Dorsey on your program not long ago, didn't you? You still up there,
Yes,
bro?
yes, I did. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I did.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah. Troy Dorsey, great fight with Jorge Paez. You know, that was a draw. That's when Troy Dorsey was telling us he got his scalp peeled back and he got his eyebrows shaved down. That was like, whoa. I remember hearing that going on back in the early '90s and stuff, and he was one of the guys I never heard that got the operation. But can you imagine that? Getting the skin on your head pulled back and your eyebrows shaved down to prevent yourself from bleeding in a boxing match, man. That's a warrior.
Wow. You know, that was the fight, Bruce, where he threw 1,500 punches too. Troy.
Yep.
Wow.
Threw 1,500 punches in that fight. Yeah.
Whoa. I know his arms was on fire. Whew. Wow.
Yeah, that's an underappreciated fighter. And like I said, an entertainer. He was from a circus. That's what he did for a living. And
Yeah.
his boxing was his second thing when he got into it. But he was an entertainer. He would come out there tumbling, doing the flips, man, off the top rope.
Flips. Okay,
Dude,
yeah.
and entertaining as
He was
hell,
a
man.
clown.
Oh, a real clown,
A real
life.
clown, yeah. He was an
Yep.
actual clown from a Mexican circus, right? He was a real clown. Yeah,
What's better than that in the crazy sport of boxing?
that's right. And he was an acrobat as well. So yeah, he had a lot of outside skill coming in. Very difficult fighter to fight. Troy just put his head in his chest and kept going. That's all he did.
Oh yeah, and Paez, he fought and he could fight in any era with that style of his. And he basically did. He fought past his prime, and he fought all these names I mentioned, the legends. He ducked nobody. Damn, he definitely belongs on that list, man. What a fighter, Lisa. That's
I hope
top.
he's a Hall of Famer. I never looked that up.
I don't know. I don't follow that too much. We mostly hear about the fighters who should be in there and don't make it. But
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of states that have Hall of Fames now. You know, get Nevada has one, Florida has one, and so there are Hall of Fames. You hear about fighters going in, and I'll say, oh, didn't I think it was Jameel McCline. He was elected in Florida, and I was talking to somebody. I said, "Didn't he go in the International Boxing Hall?" No. He went to the Florida. Oh, okay. So there's a lot of Hall of Fames out there. Something I'm learning every day, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's just a lot of so much great talent out there. Latino, warriors. It's a lot, in history, and currently. You know what I mean? I can't even. Wow, that's just like just to study that alone is just a lot of information. You'd be surprised, yeah.
So man, hey,
Surprised how much you don't know.
man.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut it down in a few minutes. You know what I'm saying, guys? Because what I
Yeah.
mean. We're gonna do a little after party after this. You know what I'm saying? If you guys are down, but we're gonna shut this one down. Then we're gonna start a new one. All right.
Oh, okay.
So Major Key, I'm good for now, brother.
Hold on,
All
what
right?
would you just
But
say?
I
You just threw
appreciate
me.
everybody for coming.
Hold on. My brother just tried to throw me in the loop and say we're doing something and I'm doing this like afterwards. Like yo, this was your show. What you talking about? Like I got an after party.
Yeah, after party.
He just tried to throw me in the loop, man. Yeah. You know what it is? It is early on a Saturday night, man. I might just pop up in a couple minutes. You know what I mean? But it'll be it'll be on everything, not just Hispanic Heritage Month. This one was specific to Hispanic Heritage Month. We can open it up to everything else that everybody's been talking about. So y'all more than welcome to join again if we go live again.
Yeah. What's up, houses? What's up, fam?
I know I haven't seen IBH in a minute.
Yeah, Lupe Pinto. Y'all mentioned him. I was glad. Yeah. Just so many, so many. God.
That's why we didn't want to put them in order because we just want to throw out names like 10 names here, 10 names next week, 10 names the week after that. Then we could sit down after everybody watches the fights and they'll have a little bit more of of an intelligent way of looking at it versus just throwing out names because they don't know the other names.
Right.
And
you got
so
the
that was kind of the plan with everything.
Yeah, and the current legend would be Canelo, a young legend. Yeah. So
exactly.
It's like
so
I
he'll
said,
go down in history. Yeah.
And this is about fighters that did historical things, And then we do that for the last one, Lisa Bells, So as of right now, we're just gonna throw some names. People may not know, or people may know,
Yeah,
So,
somebody said in the chat, Jose Napoles. I remember him. Wow.
Yeah, he was up on the list.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. We played him. He was like number 7, I want to say. Number 7.
Yeah.
Around there, 6 or 7. But yeah, he was on the list.
Yeah, we had like at least 10 fighters on the list.
Mantequilla, butter.
Jose Mantequilla Napoles.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, Jeff. We got Manuel Marquez up there as well. But the thing is that a lot of people know about Marquez right now, and what we're trying to do with the first week is pretty much educate you guys on the old school fighters, so that way we could start kind of like bringing it up to speed and showing you guys a little bit more as the weeks progress. And then the last week should be interesting because everybody has been following for the 4 weeks will be up to speed as far as like the old school fighters. You can't say, oh, well, I never heard of them before. Well, if you wasn't watching, then that's your problem. But you know what I'm saying? Guido, Mark, Troy, Lisa, Bruce Goes, we all gonna be talking about it, So it is what it is.
Yeah.
And shout out to my boy Sinister. My bad, he was here at the beginning.
Yeah, Sinister. Yeah.
Sinister.
Valero.
Edwin Valero.
Yeah, Edwin Valero. That's Central South America. Yeah.
Yeah. Only thing I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah. Only thing I'm gonna be honest with you. We spoke about that on the background before we even started this. And I got you, Mark. I'll check it in a minute. But what's called the only thing that I want to say about Edwin Valero, even though he was a beast in the ring, we were chopping it up, me and Guido, but Guido don't want to talk about him because of what he did in his personal life. So it's just kind of like the Pidejo, you know what I mean? Like, we just, but I get what you're saying, but that's the only reason we don't want to bring that one up. You know what I mean? But yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
But yeah, man. So yo, Lisa in the building, Troy Grizzy. So let's
Yeah,
start off
thank
with
you.
with Lisa first. What are your final thoughts since you came in last?
Hey man, it's so many again, happy
Hispanic heritage.
Hispanic Heritage. I was going to say Latino, I'm sorry. Hispanic Heritage Month to everyone. I'm appreciating, all the just shining light to all the greats and even ones
Mhm.
that don't get, mentioned or whatever, because this is
Yeah,
about, the celebration. You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? So it's about
You know,
celebrating.
let me piggyback off you, and I'll let you finish too. I want to piggyback off of that because that's important. Because if you heard my last live, right, you understand that there was some haters in the thing. This is not about like putting like one up in somebody. This is literally just a celebration. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what we tend to forget sometimes is that everybody, wants to appreciate and wants to. Don't try to batter nobody because they're not of your particular culture or race. This is a beautiful thing. Like the same way that I'm gonna represent Black History Month in February. You know what I'm saying? And they probably most of them don't even probably know the own history. They probably don't know that it started in like what 1926, I believe, from an education
Hey
dude. You know
Glenn,
what I'm
not
saying?
to cut
What's
you
his
up, brother,
name?
but no, most of these dudes don't know who's Floyd Patterson and what, and they don't know
Yeah.
he was the
No,
youngest
no, no.
undisputed world champion. So
Yeah, but
if it's Black
I don't want
History
to.
Month, we're
I don't
gonna
want to
do
make it
Black
negative.
History Month.
I don't want to make it negative. We're just talking about history. So what I'm
No,
trying
no,
to say
no.
is,
I'm not making a negative. I'm saying like a lot of them don't know who's Floyd Patterson is, which is the youngest undisputed heavyweight champ. Floyd
yeah.
Patterson, you know?
Look, man. Look,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say, right? Is that basically, we had a founder, and believe it was 1926, and then after that, there was
Carter G.
some
Woodson.
school. There, yeah, Woodson. There we go. There
Yeah,
we go. Woodson.
he wrote The Miseducation of the Negro. It started as a
Exactly,
week.
exactly,
It started as a
exactly. And it
week.
was a week.
Yeah.
Exactly, it was a week. And then in 1970, I believe it was in 1970,
Mm-hmm.
they decided to go ahead and practice with like a month. And what like 1978, I believe it was that
Mm-hmm.
that then the president at that time made it a month, right? Or
Carter.
acknowledged it as a month, right?
It was Carter, right? Carter was the president then, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember necessarily, but I
Yeah.
remember that also in 1968, I think it was Lyndon Johnson that started
Mm-hmm.
off Hispanic Week,
Mm-hmm.
and then in 1988, it was Reagan in
President
August
Reagan,
of
yeah.
that year that made it Hispanic Heritage Month. So this is
Okay.
not new. So when somebody comes on and tries to act foolish and says, "Oh, this and this and this and that," bro, this is just something that's been happening, and maybe you were ignorant to it. But all we're doing is trying to celebrate it for the boxers. It's not like like
Right.
a tit for tat type of thing. Like literally, like you sound stupid when you come onto my live. Talking about this and this and that. Like this is literally not about that. This is about just heritage and
Yeah.
knowledge. You know what I mean? That's all it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
That's all. Yeah. That's all it is about. Celebrating. We celebrate. I celebrate my warriors. You know what I mean? My
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Latino warriors. My whoever. I don't care where you from.
Yeah.
Not even about that. It's just about boxing. And when I grew up watching boxing, I didn't. When I grew up, I was little, so Duran was really huge. I didn't look at Duran like we didn't look at him like Duran was the man. I remember when he, it was a big thing when he beat um Sugar Ray Leonard, and then the second fight. You know what I mean? So like Duran was that dude. You know what I'm saying? So nobody paid attention to that. I knew he was from Panama, but nobody, you know what I mean? Like we just knew Duran was a bad. He was a bad joker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't get caught up in that, but I was little. You know what I'm saying?
Manos de Tierra. Oh man, Devan. He's gonna be on maybe in the last week. But we'll get
Mm,
him Devan for sure. You know.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what's up. But I appreciate that, Lisa Bills. And also one other thing, because I hear a lot of people with misinformation saying that, hey, Black History Month, was started because of, it was the shortest month. Well, actually, same person, who was his name again? I keep forgetting. Woodson, right? Carter Woodson. And but
Carter G.
the
Woodson.
reason that it started, right, was because it fell in line with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. So you know what I mean? That's why. You know what I mean? Like, that's when it was introduced and stuff like that. So I mean, it's nothing like anybody's like coming on some negative things, man. I wish somebody would just come in here, man, and just be like, hey, you know what? I didn't know all of this history, and just shout out to you guys for giving me that history, and that's all. You know what I mean? Because that's what this is for. It's for knowledge and education. That's it. Yeah.
See, I must have missed the last video. I didn't see all of that. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, no, they were coming hard, but they all got deleted because I don't have time for that. This is not a crazy show like that. You know what I mean? We're trying to educate. We're not trying to like get all into that, but. I just wanted to say that because the last show was a little wild with everybody having to block other people, and it's crazy because it was literally just about a celebration, first day of Hispanic Heritage Month. So anywho, man, so next person, Bruce, what's your final words?
Yeah, man, I just nothing but gratitude over here, and man, I don't have a website, but you guys see me everywhere. I mean everywhere because I'm, I don't play this internet bullshit, man. I don't ride with haters. I don't ride with lovers, man. I go for boxing, man. I go to the sites where they talk about boxing. I get called out sometimes. I'm crossing my lane. That's all bullshit because there is no lane, man. If there's ever a fence rider in boxing, man, that's me because I want to hear it from every side. I get welcomed on panels for every freaking site on here, and excluding maybe one or two. But man, it's all good. It's all boxing, man. We keep it that way. I love to see the unification that goes through just our love for boxing, and I don't even regard all the other bullshit. You can't please everybody. You got to please yourself out here, man. And you guys definitely are awesome. This is an awesome site, man. And all the sites I go on, man. To me, they're all awesome sites, and I'm just having a good time on here and rising above the bullshit. So peace out, everyone.
I appreciate that, man. Troy Graham.
Yes, sir. Hey. I need you to add 3 names to the list for me if you can. Pepe Carrera is the trainer.
Man, don't be telling me right now. You could tell the audience, but just email me.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell the audience. Pepe Carrera, that's one. Johnny Tapia, and since you brought up, the first Hands of Stone, Michael Carbajal. I want you to add it. That's somebody else I definitely want to hear about. Those are three greats right there. You got 2 great fighters, and you have a great trainer. All right. So definitely see if you can add them to the list.
All right, no doubt. And we'll talk to Guido about that. And Guido, take it home, brother. This is your show.
Yeah, nigga, we know. Shit. Yo, I want to thank everybody for coming, really, man. We just getting started, man. The second time already, you know what I mean? That third one is going to be even better. So, next time y'all come on, man, we're going to drop some more fighters. Like I said, this was fighters about historical fighters that did really great things in boxing. This is not about who's number 1, number 2. So we'll say that for the last time, like I said, you know?
Yeah.
And I really appreciate all of you for showing up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you fam, Guido, Major, keep family anytime. Yeah. Troy.
Absolutely. Y'all already know what it is. So,
Hey, before you leave, right, bro?
Huh?
Before you leave, play that little salsa, man. So we can all leave a
go
little
out
happy,
salsa? All right, I'm gonna play some
Close
salsa.
it down with the salsa. Yeah.
Fanny All-Stars on.
No doubt. All right. So we're gonna do that then. I'm gonna put y'all all. If y'all can put yourselves on mute, I'll go ahead and play some salsa and we'll close it down. And Mark, I'm actually in the middle of emailing you back, brother. All right.
Thank you, Mark, for everything. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, for real. Give me a couple minutes, guys. Should have let me know about that first, man. You just threw me off on that one. Like, hold on a second.
Pablo, loco, pero ¿qué pasa, bro? ¿Qué?
No, you told me last minute. I had my Gmail closed already, but I'm opening it up right now.
Dale, bro, ¿qué? I hope you guys enjoy all the fighters that we dropped today, man. You know, I took a lot of research today and yesterday, you know, just for my Hispanic people, you know, for the heretics, you know. You know, y'all keep throwing me names. If y'all want some other fighters that I don't know, maybe, at least throw me some names, you know.
Can y'all hear it?
Yes, sir. We hear it. We hear that little salsa. Good, play that. ¿Quién le gusta escuchar salsa? Vamos a escuchar some salsa music. Before y'all leave, man, can we get a smash the like button, man? You know?
All right, guys. Have a great night. Appreciate you showing up to Major Key for this edition, this Saturday edition with host Guido Pion, talking about Hispanic Heritage Month. We gave you 10 names to take home and do some research on. Mark, you in the background? All right. So you guys have a great night. See you guys.